This here is my absolute dream bike. It's been wonderful to ride. It's the Specialized Tarmac SL8. But I'm about to do something too that's either gonna be the best upgrade I ever made or quite simply just a complete waste of my money. I'm trading out my 170 millimeter cranks for 165 millimeter. The promise of more speed and a silky smooth pedal stroke is just hard to resist. So today we're gonna do the full swap and we're gonna find out if size really does matter. So what's the big deal? For years, the cranksets on most road bikes were standard 170, 172.5, or 175 millimeters. You just rode what you got. But lately, something has really been changing, especially in the pro peloton. We're seeing riders like Pogacar, who gradually went from 172.5 to 170s, and now he's pushing 165s. There's even stories about Jonas, who's been testing cranks down to 150 millimeters. So when the best of the best is making those type of changes, it's got to be deliberate, right? It can't be for nothing. And the old thinking was longer cranks mean more leverage, like using a wrench to break a rusty bolt. But the difference is pedaling is not a single effort. It's a continuous spinning motion. The real benefits really come down to two key things. It's comfort and aerodynamics. Shorter cranks open up your hip angle at the top of the pedal stroke. So imagine the difference between doing a deep restrictive squat versus a short, more relaxed half squat over and over again. That extra space allows you to get lower and more aero without your knees banging up against your chin. You can hold that aggressive speed demon type position for longer, which could translate to free speed. The idea is that any tiny loss in leverage is completely wiped out by the...
Currently I'm 165. I've ridden 170, I think, for the last 3 or 4 years. Before that, I was 172.5. And yeah, for me, it helps me a bit with my comfort. I have less pain on my back when I ride shorter cranks because it's less extreme in the movement. So for me, if I feel more comfortable, I also feel that I can have better power on the long term.
So why am I going shorter really is to open up my hips. Less range of motion at the top of the stroke means I can stay low without feeling cramped. And really that's big because I'm also going to do this to my Zwift ride as well. And that should allow me to, again, stay in position longer. That's one of the things that I really struggle with, especially on indoor rides. So the move from 170 to 165, I'm not just doing this on the SL8. I'm gonna also be doing this on my Zwift ride as well. I'm hoping that the new crank for the Zwift ride comes in tomorrow, and then I'll have a video on that as well. But the real reason is I wanna stay low longer and be more comfortable in a aero position. That's when I'm really putting down the power. And what I realize is the reason why I don't stay in that position is I'm just uncomfortable. You know, and I've moved cleat positions, I've played with saddle height, I've done all those different things, and all of them make small benefits, but the more and more I research about crankling, this could be that silver bullet or that allows me to feel more comfortable, at least as comfortable as I'm gonna be in a lower position. So this install itself is really straightforward. I mean, I'm really keeping the rest of the setup exactly the same, just swapping out the crank arms. The only difference between the old crank arms and the new crank arms is my old crank arms were the D24s, which was the previous version. These are gonna be the E1, so this is the version that just came out recently. And then also one thing to remember with this is the shorter crank means my leg isn't reaching down as far per se. So I'm gonna of course, I'm gonna have to bump the saddle up just a couple of millimeters, hopefully just 5, and then be good. But then I'll double check the fit and everything, you know, and you're gonna wanna do that if you make these changes yourself. So just to kind of summarize what I'm really looking to get out of this, moving from 170 to 165, really what it comes down to over everything else is just more comfort overall, especially in that low race position. I am looking for a bit more snap in my cadence when the cadence goes up. Less pressure on my hips and my knees, especially on those longer times on the bike. And then maybe a touch more efficiency overall. You know, I do think it is going to give me a smoother pedal stroke, less wasted movement. And then, you know, really, I'm not looking to become Pagacha or Jonas on this. I'm not looking to magically gain 20 watts, but I do think my body will feel better with this change. So really, this is all about comfort. It's all about feeling good the day after the ride, and not just during the ride. Hey, look, crank length can be one of those things that can get really nerdy really fast, but really, when it all comes down to is shorter cranes can help you move better, feel better, and ride stronger. Especially if you're dealing with tight hips, low cadence, or just want to keep your joints a little bit happy as you get old. So that's what the research told me when I looked it up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna test this over the next few weeks. I'm gonna ride on Zwift with it. Like I said, that video is coming soon. The installation on the Zwift ride is coming soon. I'm gonna hit some longer rides. I usually do a lot of my longer rides in the fall here in Texas. So I have a couple of those coming up as well, and I'll just let you guys know. If you ever thought about changing your crank length, or you're dealing with some type of mystery fatigue or discomfort, or you know, you like to just tinker with your bike setups. If so, hey, I'd love to have a conversation with you. You know, drop any questions and any experiences that you had on the bike. I love hearing how other folks are dealing with dialing in their setups. And please, if you like this type of content, I'm hoping to put more of this out. Actually, I am going to put more of this out. Like I said, I have the Zwift Ride crank arm setup that I'll be installing probably hopefully this weekend. So hit that like, subscribe, and come ride with me next time. We're just getting warmed up.